My name is Dr. Rich Hills and you're watching my channel, Knife Skills. Today, I'm super excited to react to one of my favorite shows, Scrubs, to see if it holds up and give us some cultural insights into what it's like working in the hospital.
It isn't just any other day. It's my first day. I'm the man. And 4 years of pre-med, 4 years of med school, and tons of unpaid loans have made me realize one thing.
Good. Could you go drop an NG tube on the patient in 234 and call the attending if the lavage is positive?
I don't know jack.
So this is the most common feeling when you're starting as a resident. Even though you've been in the hospital as a med student, you've done a whole lot of things, the first day of the residency is your first day on the job. Now you have real responsibilities. You're not just here to learn, you're here to actually do, and that can be super intimidating. And I can remember my very first patient, my very first experience as a doctor when I was working in the emergency department, and I know I wasn't on par. Like looking at my skill sets now compared to then, it's night and day, and yet I had the responsibility of taking care of patients.
I'm no Superman.
So for YouTube rules, I had to skip past the introduction song, but there's one little detail about this intro that always drives me crazy, and that is they put the X-ray on backwards. So the heart on that picture is on the right side. Now it looks like left of screen, but in reality, we put an X-ray up so that it looks as if we're facing the patient, and so the heart is on the left side, and so it should be to the right of our visual field. And every single time I see this introduction, it drives me crazy, and it's one of the most well-known and iconic memes of the show is that they put the X-ray up on backwards. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it stuck through the whole series until there was actually a episode where they made a joke about the fact the X-ray was up backwards.
The hospital doesn't want to be sued. Being sued is not a good thing. Finally, doctors, if there is a mistake, don't admit it to the patient. Of course, if the patient is deceased, and you're sure, you can feel free to tell him or her anything.
Okay, so this is terrible advice, and maybe the joke here is that this is the hospital lawyer giving advice that's going to benefit the hospital. The reality is that you absolutely must disclose errors to your patients, and there will be errors, and how you disclose them to the patient is so important. Communicating them in a honest, clear, and vulnerable way is usually the best way. Very often your hospital will have a policy where they might want an administrator present during the disclosure of certain types of errors, but disclosure to the patient is a critical part of medical care and something you need to do.
So the surgical interns are gonna go grab a beer.
The medical interns are having a Pac-Man tournament. Apparently we're all 12.
I love Pac-Man.
Me too, I love watching it, I love playing it, I love all of it.
So surgery versus medicine is going to be a constant theme throughout the show Scrubs in general. And for sure, there's definitely a culture of medicine and a culture of surgery that they're going to allude to here. And I'm not going to disagree necessarily that it still exists today. There are elements, for sure, that's true.
Hi, doctor, I'm...
Place an IV for me.
We'll talk later.
Carla, can I ask you a personal question? Do you spray the perfume on, or you just fill your bathtub up with it at home and splash around in it?
I smell nice.
Come on, you've done this to cadavers before, so this guy's alive. Just poke it through his skin. Poke it through, now!
Time's up. Carla, would you do it for him, please? I'm also gonna need an ABG.
Why are you telling her?
Shut up and watch.
Be nice to Bambi.
Why is this Gomer got to try and die every day during my lunch?
It's a little insensitive.
Okay, so they actually made a slur that you can't use in the hospital today, or maybe some hospitals do, and that's called a Gomer. It's a famous phrase that was made popular by an old book, House of God, and Gomer stands for get out of my ER. And essentially that is a slur used to describe people who tend to use the emergency department a lot for medical conditions. They often have very chronic medical illnesses, and they never seem to die. They just always seem to survive, and that was the meme of the book, House of God. So definitely don't use the term Gomer today.
Perk's having the same experience I am.
I'm such a stud.
Probably not.
This morning, I had my hands inside of a guy's chest. I couldn't even see them. I should not be allowed to do stuff like that. What's that?
And you weren't scared?
One way or another, everyone stops bleeding. It is so deep.
No, it isn't.
Of course, that's a classic surgical line. All bleeding stops eventually.
It's a little deep.
Yeah, we never got to talk about the apartment. I want to.
What up, boy? How you doing? All right. All right, Todd, JD, this is my man Todd.
Let's go. And like that, I was back in high school. You see, surgical interns, they're all slice them and dice them. They're the jocks. Medical interns, we're trained to think about the body, diagnose, test. The medical interns, well,
You got a stain.
we're the chess club.
I'm not going to disagree with JT there. I do think that surgeons are the cool kids on campus.
I just have bad gas. What are you testing me for?
We need to know if your gas could be harmful to others.
Cirrhosis and infected stool most likely indicate what, Dr. Dorian?
Sir, I have no idea.
Dr. Reed, can you help him out?
I'd say it's superior mesenteric insufficiency.
Rounds are super stressful. And I'm not going to say that this never happens, but you really should be helping your fellow resident in rounds. Throwing them under the bus, quite literally, like what happened here. I can't say doesn't happen, but when it does, it really kind of undermines your relationship a lot more than it helps. In the end, you've got to work with these residents for 5 long years or more, and having those relationships is critical to a successful and smooth training period.
Draining Miss Pratt's stomach fluid will get my spirits back up.
Shut up and do it.
Fantastic. Now just suck out the fluid with the giant needle. I think this needle's too big. I'm gonna get a nurse.
Come on, man. Learn by doing. Learn by doing.
Why couldn't I do that? I hated him at that moment.
Okay, maybe the needle was just a little too big.
Oh, you think?
What's going on down there? Nothing, man.
So this is one of my absolute favorite scenes in the entire show. Really outlines that medicine versus surgical, where surgeons just want to dive in and try and take a risk, and where the medicine doctor sometimes will spend more time thinking and being a bit more careful. And this spans really the culture of medicine and surgery, even to today.
See, here's how it works. Someone's heart fails, they beep everyone. The first doctor in has to run the room, tell everyone what to do, basically decide if the patient lives or dies. What, am I crazy? You chicken. Don't worry about the patient. Turk was already there, learning by doing.
Charge, clear!
Plus, it turns out the guy was just sleeping, attached to a faulty monitor.
That's why you do pulse checks when you find someone who's not responsive. I do remember as a trainee, codes were kind of exciting. You got an opportunity to really flex your muscles and maybe even do something that could save a life. And when you're a brand new doctor, that's a pretty exciting experience. Now, my own situation as a trauma surgeon, dealing with codes a lot more frequently, they're definitely more stressful, but there was definitely a time where I'm like, this is a great opportunity to learn and be a doctor.
Hey, nurse.
I'm a doctor, okay? The stethoscope, the beeper, a doctor. Got it?
Relax. Just hate it. I hate the darlings. I hate the sweethearts.
You don't need to tell me how hard it is being a woman around here.
Well, you're certainly furthering the cause by wearing a thong to work and hooking up in the on-call room. Word gets around.
You talk like that. Do you even know my name? I spend every second of my life either here or taking care of my mom. So yeah, maybe I needed a little closeness. I'm sure you never had a quickie at the club, right? Or snuck some skinny, flat-butted college boy up to your sorority room. And my thong? I happen to think it makes my ass look good, and some days I need to feel good about something around here, and you judge me? Well, guess what? Word does get around Ms. Out for herself, so you can dump on everyone here if you want, but you will not hurt me.
Making enemies with nurses is probably one of the worst things that you could possibly do as a young doctor starting out. And Elliot's made a big mistake here. I understand she's under pressure and feels the stress of being a young woman doctor. And 20 years ago, I do think the ratios were a little different, and it was a little less common to have as many women doctors as we have today. I mean, right now, most of general surgery in my program are women. Back then, it might have been a little different, so I understand Elliot's pressure, but you can't make enemies of the nurses. They are there taking care of the patients. They can make your life absolutely miserable, or they can make your life a lot easier.
Car accident, crashed in the elevator on the way up.
We gotta relieve the pressure in his chest. JD, do it.
Oh, God, no.
Look at me. You can do this.
And I believed him. Chest tube tray. You know, kinda.
Come on, baby, let's go. Chop, chop.
You can do this. You have to do this.
JD, cut him or lose him.
Okay, give me the tube. I can't get it through the floor.
Well, don't be gentle. Get it in there.
Okay, connect it, please, Carla.
Normal rhythm.
No way.
Hey, it's a piece of cake. It's your patient.
You're leaving?
That's your patient, doctor.
So what this patient had was a tension pneumothorax, which is a relatively common event that happens when you have trauma. You can have a one-way valve of air escaping the lung but getting trapped in the chest, causing compression of your heart. It's a life-saving maneuver to put in a chest tube, and it's great to see Dr. Cox walk JD through his very first chest tube, save a life, and build the confidence that he really needed at this point in his training.
Good. That's enough.
Sorry. It's a very big moment for me. The most important thing is that I got through my first 3 days without looking like a complete idiot. I'm the man.
Well, that was Scrubs. I still today think it's one of the best medical shows for realistic experience of what it's like in the hospital. With both comedy and drama, you can get the full range of experiences. I think a lot of shows that focus on the drama try a bit too hard to get that tension through stress, when tension from humor and silliness is really a big part of the human experience as well, and Scrubs did an awesome job with that. So once again, thank you for watching. If you're interested in watching me react to another show, watch this video down below where I react to Doogie Howser, an old show from the 1980s, and its pilot episode. Until next time though, thanks again for watching. Have a great day.